I'm very much grateful that I can be part of your inaugural event, and my hearty congratulations for the very successful launch of this next conference, very much important meeting, to which I hope that a lot of Japanese delegates will join as time goes on. Now, 5 big challenges and 5 big opportunities. Let's be pessimistic first before us being optimistic. And by the way, in order for any leader of any nation to lead his, her nation, the leader has to be an optimist for the future. 5 biggest challenges for the Indo-Pacific. It is number 1, China. Number 2, China. Number 3, China. Number 4, number 5, I don't know, but let's just discuss 3 biggest challenges, namely China. China is going to be bigger and more powerful. People often argue that Chinese economy is gradually losing its steam, and the population bonus is soon going to be population onus. And people often even argue that an affluent group of Chinese people is busy finding investment opportunities elsewhere than in China. All those being true, and yet you are looking at an economy that is annually growing by 3, 4, or even 5%. Let's just imagine that an economy grows by 5% per year. It means that in 14 years' time, the economy is going to be doubly bigger. And if the economy grows even by 4 or 5%, one can easily assume that Chinese military spending and the military power thereof is going to be yet bigger, let's say in 5 years' time, 10 years' time, and so on. Japan and India are both feeling this growth of Chinese military power almost daily. How best can democratic nations such as India and Japan accommodate, live with this growing military behemoth that's in the making? Number 1 is the Chinese military growth. Number 2, Chinese economic development has proven that it's been out of the set pattern that humans have long known about. We all believed, didn't we, that as the economy grows, middle class will also grow, and so will the space of public and political discourse in China. That's proven to be untrue. The Chinese society is going to be even more, not less, authoritarian. I think that's going to give a powerful influence throughout the world. There is going to be a competition between the democratic model of development and an authoritarian Chinese model of development, which has already been unraveling, but the competition is going to be more serious. Number 3, it's not necessarily about China, but it's straightforwardly Taiwan. And to those of you who are watching this interview, may I say that for my country, for Japan, Taiwan's fate is and will be the most important part for the future of Japan. If you lose Taiwan, if Taiwan gets annexed by the communist regime, there will be very much squeezed strategic space for Japan. Emotionally, psychologically, it's going to be harder for the Japanese to be able to stand tall against China, to maintain its public discourse, the space of public discourse. So Taiwan's fate is a great concern. Number 4, it's one of the conventionally thought about issues. It is the future of the United States. It is still true that the United States is the biggest power in the world, and its military power is still the biggest. And yet, the recent trend has told us in India, in Japan, and elsewhere that the volatility of the U.S. politics is even more, not less, paramount going forward. So the posture to be taken by the future of the United States is beyond our capable prediction range. The response to that is that because of that reason, countries such as Japan, India, and perhaps Australia and so on, that share the same concerns, that share the same interests, must work even harder and even more closely together in order for the United States, in order for us to let the United States stay engaged, stay involved as a counterbalancing power in the Indo-Pacific political dynamics. I have spoken about 4. Number 5, the fifth challenge is, I think, may I say, because I am addressing the audience in India, it is about the future of India. But as a caveat, may I also say, India poses among the greatest opportunities as well. So let me just turn to the 5 biggest opportunities for the Indo-Pacific region. I think India's future is among the most promising and optimistic, elements about which one can be optimistic. Because India, since its independence, has experienced a lot of challenges and a lot of zigging and zagging experiences. Nonetheless, India has stayed democratic, and India has never ever failed to introduce the next administration in the peaceful manner. So I hope and I believe that the future for Indian democratic institutions and development will bear fruit, not only for the Indian people, but also for the greater world. However, in order for this to be made possible, I think wise handling of difficult, sensitive issues, including religious confrontations within the country, must be handled with extreme care. It is my belief that the wisdom, collective wisdom of the Indian people will make it possible. The second opportunity is this widening space of knowledge creation, propelled daily or minute by minute by the development of artificial intelligence. Why do I say English platform? That is that if you recall, there is something called network effect, which is to say, if you add 1 to a small number of participants, the number of network connectivities, network connections, lines of network will double, treble, and quadruple. So that's the pace and tempo with which network expands. And who else is going to be better fit to benefit from this expanding network of knowledge? That is those people who speak an international language, lingua franca, in this case, English. Even if people in China are big in number, even if the language spoken there is actually spoken by a lot of people, it is not yet and will never be an internationally accepted language. Media space, knowledge space, science exploration will still be conducted and furthered in English. So India is extremely better fit in benefiting from this expanding English-speaking platform. AI, artificial intelligence, and quantum computing, those involving knowledge creation, will more or less be the same. That is to say, the propelling factor, propelling engine will be provided by the English-speaking community. So that's point number 2. Point number 3. I think there will be new Asian tigers, if you like. They're already in the making. If you look at Bangladesh, Bangladesh is becoming very much fast one of the manufacturing centers in the Southeast Asian region. And I think it's incumbent upon countries such as India and Japan to, as much as possible, collaborate and cooperate with people in Bangladesh so that the development of Bangladesh is going to be both prosperous and democratic. But if you look at such countries as Bangladesh that are gaining traction in their economic development, one can be optimistic. Fourth, I have not spoken about Japan. Japan poses its own domestic challenges, the population decline, graying society. One can easily be very much pessimistic about the future of Japan. Let's look at the other side of the same coin. The grave challenges can provide you with lots of new opportunities. So I'm trying to be very much optimistic, even though the picture in front of us is gloomy, to say the least, if you look at the declining population and so on and so forth. But by solving those big societal challenges, I think Japan can still grow. And it's important for countries such as Japan to show to the rest of the world that very much mature, aging society can still grow. So I'm hoping that is going to be the case. The fifth opportunity may be found elsewhere than on the surface of the earth, maybe in the deep seas, maybe in the deep space, on the surface of moon, on the surface of Mars. I think it's going to be made possible for humans to exploit opportunities to be found elsewhere than on the surface of the earth. I think that itself poses a great opportunity for India, for Japan. Both leaders India and Japan. Leaders of India and Japan have already spoken many times about the possibility whereby Indian scientists and Japanese scientists could collaborate when it comes to exploring the Earth and deep space. One has to say we have spoken about those things, but we have just talked the talk. India and Japan must now walk the talk.